So we've been doing a study through the book of Proverbs, Proverbs, and we've been in Proverbs chapter 5 for a while. We've been yesterday we got as far as Proverbs chapter 17. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 18. Uh, it says, let your fountain be blessed. Let your fountain be blessed. There's that I believe it's Proverbs chapter 4, verse 12 or so. It talks about the fact that guide your heart with all diligence, for out of it proceeds the issues of life. The Bible says, let your fountain be blessed. Right? The place where where the issues of life proceeds. The Bible says, guide your heart. That's your fountain, right? Where the treasures, the riches of your life proceeds from. God is saying, let your fountain, your source be blessed. Let your source be blessed and rejoice with the wife of your youth, right? And like I said, we're gonna go back again and look at verse 15 down here to 19, looking at it from the second part in this verse, and how it relates to relationship, right? But here let's follow this particular trajectory, right? And it's saying, let the source of your life be blessed, right? Let the source of your life be blessed. Let the fountain of your life be blessed. Let the richness, the fullness of who you are, your blessedness, your richness, be graced, right? Be enabled. Let it shine forth. Let the beauty, the glory of it radiate, right? That's what we've been sharing from verse 15. Your fountain, everyone has a fountain of life. Again, God has not made anyone that is useless. Everyone that God has made, He has made with a fountain, with a talent, with a grace, and that grace is meant, to bless the world. Without grace, also, you are expected, to leave your mark in this life, right? It is what separates you, it's what marks you out, right? We all have weaknesses, we all have strengths, right? There's nobody without weakness. That's why we talk about our humanity. We are limited. There's a limitedness in us, and that is pretty much highlighted by our weaknesses. But our weakness is not just all that defines us. We also have strengths. We have uniqueness about our personality, and that's what we're supposed to use to win in this life. That's what we're meant to use to win in this life. I've read a couple of people who have made it, successful people, celebrities, and what they said is that when they began to break through in their life, it was when they decided to be authentic about who they are, right? When they decided to be authentic about who they are, when they began to be true to their person, right? They understood their weaknesses and they respected that, and they understood their strength and then began to shine their strength. You began to use their strength to war wherever they found themselves, to shine wherever they found themselves. And that's what has made the difference for them. Someone like Oprah Winfrey once said that, she never knew that she's made all the money she's made because she decided to be authentic, to be herself. That if she knew that being herself, was going to make her a lot of money, she would have done that much earlier, much quicker, right? So who are you? Do you know who you are? Do you respect who you are? We have a forum in the office here. We call the quiet leaders, and someone shared something yesterday about our limitations, growing up in the office, about, not being one that speaks in public, right? And we're just sharing all of that, and that might be you also, right? So that's probably not where you ought to shine, right? That's been me in several places in the church. I'd rather support someone than be the one at the forefront, right? And one time my pastor wanted me to lead a group, and I said, hey, I'm ready to support whoever is going to lead. That's what I'm more attuned to, because I am an introvert. I'm a quiet person. I'm probably not the one that wants to head everything, but in a support role, that's where my strength is, right? My weakness, you not want me to be in as a point person, right? And it's not as if I'm running away from responsibility. It's just who I am. I shine best in the support role, right? Is that you? Don't feel any less because if that is you, do that which is your strength. Stay away from exposing yourself to things you don't have strength for, right? If it's a weakness for you to be the point person, then why be the point person? Why not stay in your support role where your strength is able to shine best, right? Where you're going to get fulfilled by what you do, where you are not going to be, as it were, draining yourself, but you are going to be, as it were, renewing your strength. If you're in a place where your strength is always being drained, you're probably in a place that you're not supposed to be. You're probably in a place that the fountain of your life is not resourcing. You're probably draining yourself doing that. Find the things that energize you, and do more of that rather than being a place where you are drained, where you're not being fulfilled.